Hey guys, we're out here at the new Amana disc golf course. Hole one is a super shorty here. I'm throwing a zone. The basket kind of sits in a bowl, so it's a must get birdie hole. The tee pads look kind of funky, but they actually don't affect you at all. Hole two here, this is where the long pad I think is going to be. Plays like a 600-foot par four. You throw over this like ridge where this retainment pond is, down into this little dish, and you got a really tight upshot through this gap to get to the basket. The green plays pretty tight here. A lot of little trees and branches and bushes in your way, but I think this one is a pretty easy birdie as long as you get off the tee correctly. Moving on to hole three, it is another real short little putter shot. Just kind of like a turnover putter, or like you could hyzer flip a zone or something right to the basket. Moving on, I think they're going to build a bridge right behind this basket. The course is laid out a little goofy where you park in main Amana and then you play holes 1, 2, and 3. Then you cross the bridge and the railroad tracks and you play holes 4 through 11. Then you come back across the railroad tracks and play holes 12 through 17, and then cross the bridge once more to play hole 18 in the back of your car. Hole 4 is this like 260-foot like mid-range, or you could chuck a putter at it. You got to cross a little creek to get to the basket. It's crick on the right side and rough on the left, so it's a little protected, but should be a birdie. Hole 5, right now it's this little short chip shot, but there's another basket location. I don't know why it's not there, but it's like 340, 350. It's like a smooth fairway driver or a mid-range and kind of like a protected green, which looks super fun, but I haven't seen the basket there yet. Hole 6 is another full drive. There's a crick on the right side, and it seems like it's always a headwind or like a right to left or something. There's a ditch probably 50 feet in front of the basket that it seems like I always land in. So I always end up with this jump putt that I have not been making lately. But fun hole, get some distance out finally. Hole 7 is like, a fairway driver, big hyzer. Always a right to left coming off this cornfield, so might be a little hard to get to sometimes just from the pushing wind, but should be a birdie. Moving on to hole 8. Some of the distances on these signs might be a little wrong, or U-disc. I didn't have my rangefinder with me. I think it said 330, but it feels like a full pump. OB on the right, woods on the left, super protected green, but it's like a full hyzer shot with a distance drop. You can go out of bounds right, and there's like another wastewater retention pond over there that you do not want to be in. And the grass is super tall. I definitely lost a wraith playing a practice round, but RIP. Hole 9, I'm definitely throwing a mid-range at 327. There's like one little bunch of trees that you have to beat either right or left, but should be very gettable. Easy par 3 hole leading you into the next par 4-ish, par 3.5. Hole 10 is like 364 is what U-disc said. This tree fell in the center of the fairway, which actually made the hole a lot harder. You could really push on the inside a little lower and have a better angle at it, but I had to go big, high hyzer at it with a distance driver. Left me short and to the left, having to make a step putt, but super fun hole. Probably one of my more favorite holes on the course. That tree is a super bummer, but it is what it is with disc golf courses. I think these 8 holes over here are probably my favorite holes on the course. Probably just because they have the most variety and the most trees to deal with. Super fun, par three golf. Hole 11, you're probably smooth like a turnover backhand, but I'm throwing the forehand at it. The ceiling's pretty tight, so you kind of got to line drive it, but not super far. I think it's probably farther than 250, probably more like 330, 340, but definitely gettable. Not much to worry about unless you kind of turn your forehand over, but pretty good par three hole. Hole 12, this is the long tee pad, full pump. The short tee pad is like fairway driver ish, but there's the creek on the left hand side. So there's always a left to right, and danger of going out of bounds in the creek. So a tough hole, but super fair. Hole 13 is a pretty fun par four. You can really chop it up into two shots. Right in the middle of the fairway, there's this narrow strip between the trees on the right and the creek on the left. And there's like this little ditch. So I choose to just kind of throw a mid-range right to the corner, and then it's like an easy zone flick or something to the basket. I think I went fairway here because of the wind and definitely put it a little long, but we saved it, so no big deal. I needed that birdie because hole 14 is another par 4-ish. 420 feet is what the sign said. It feels like there's always a left to right headwind on this hole coming off the road. But pretty wide open fairway as long as you don't turn anything over into the long grass. I think there's a short pin placement, like maybe 10, 15 feet in front of where I landed. But didn't connect on the birdie. 15 here, 245, another musket. Smooth little putter shot right into this circular green. Super kind of picturesque hole with Amana in the background. This side of the course is always much more windy with how open it is. And if you were to play the long grass as out of bounds, I think that would be super fun and make it much more challenging. Hole 16, you're kind of throwing over this ridge or like hedge of trees. Pretty fun, slightly uphill, 340. It's like a fairway driver, but you got to push it straight, maybe a little anhyzer. There's somebody's yard to the left, so you don't want to go in their yard. And then 17 is almost the same exact shot, it feels like. I threw the same disc on the same angle. You're going slightly more uphill, but I think both of these are must-get birdies for sure to close out your round. After you finish up 17, you'll walk back across the bridge and play the final par 4 of the course, hole 18. Pretty narrow fairway, and if you throw a distance shot, you'll end up long in the trees on the backside there. So you really got to cut something tight and hyzer it quick, or you'll be super pinched off for the second shot, which is just a chip up with your putter and a nice little tap in to finish out your round. Thanks, guys.